Some of you in the room right now, you are where you are, you're giving 60% when you have 120 in you. Why? Because you've never made a decision. Those of you in this room, you already there. Your problem is this is stuff you don't want to give up to go. Listen to me, pound for pound, any agent in the room, pound for pound, motivational speaker, pound for pound, entrepreneur, pound for pound, athlete, pound for pound, weightlifter, pound for pound, whatever you do, I guarantee you when you do it, nobody can do it like you do it. The problem is you don't hardly do it.
Welcome back to CFB Nation. I am your host, Nino Brown, and this is CFB Prime, and I have my guy, man, Mr. Boston College himself, Kevin Stone. We've got a lot to get into, my man. It's been a whirlwind in the last 48 hours. But before that, how you been?
I'm good, man. How are you? We missed you on Saturday.
Yeah, I wasn't able to make it. I'm kind of glad I wasn't in person there. I think I might have been that the chicken palm might have been coming up. You know,
You got kicked out of the press box.
I would have definitely gotten kicked out of the press box. Kev, it's been ugly. But before we break down this past game, let's get in a quick rapid fire. BC finishes with how many wins?
7.
Okay.
7 to 5.
All right. Overall grade for Billy O in year 1.
Ooh. Wow.
Nah.
Let's go B minus.
Okay, I'm with you there. C plus, B minus. There's some things I'm not too happy about. I think he could have handled better, but that's for another story for another day.
Mm-hmm.
Running back Kai Robichai gets a Senior Bowl invite.
Yeah, he should. I mean, he's arguably your best offensive player.
Mm-hmm.
Well, most consistent, I should say.
Yeah, I would say. And he missed 2 games, right?
Yeah,
yeah. So had he played a full season, man, he'd be right up there with some of the top backs,
Agreed.
in ACC. Donovan Azarokby was a top 5 edge in this class, hands down.
100%.
Okay. Some people still question it. I think they're not watching the right film.
Correct.
Holes that Boston College needs to address in the offseason.
Linebacker, tight end, receiver, quarterback. Can we just name the whole team? Or no. No, it's first and foremost, it's got to be a linebacker, right?
Yeah. Cam's gone after this.
Yeah, and you don't know what you're getting out of Bryce Steele or Jalen Blackwell. So you need help there desperately.
And then we're going to kind of talk about him a little bit later on, but can Owen McGowan return? I know it is 1 year.
Yeah.
Could he be, your next Vinny DePalma over there and kind of lead that back, that room when you need it, kind of. All right, let's get into this week. BC defeats Syracuse in comeback fashion, 37-31, led by running backs Kai Robichai and Joey McDonald. This game also saw backup quarterback Grayson James command the game-winning drive over Syracuse. What happened to Thomas Castellanos? 2 for 7, 14 yards, touchdown, an interception. The numbers don't even speak to what type of performance it was. It's been a culmination of bad football the last 4 weeks. And this guy back to 100% healthy because he sure looked like it with 100-plus yards after contact. It was nice to see the coming out party for Joey McDonald as well. But I think that Boston College might have the deepest running back room in the ACC. What are your thoughts there? First, talk to me about Thomas Castellanos and what happened.
Well, let me go back to the running backs real quick. I've said it's the deepest room since April.
You have?
By far. Look, you have guys like Turbo, Richard, and Datrell Jones who have barely seen the field. They're going to be depth pieces for you the next few years. So, yeah, that's the deepest room on the team by far. Look, as well as everybody else that has ever followed my coverage, whether it's Rivals or New England Football Journal, I was not a big Tommy guy.
Right.
To me, he is a runner who happens to play quarterback. And I think you've seen it kind of play out this season. Now, excuse me, I think ultimately, look, he didn't hop on the portal when Bill O'Brien got hired. So if you're Bill O'Brien, I think you had to be loyal to him as long as you could. And I totally understand that. You might as well see what the kid has. He's an electric runner. So if you can make him a passer, which they tried to do, well, now you've got a dual threat that's one of the best in the country. The problem is he's just not a good passer. He can't make that sideline throw. You saw the one to Lewis Bond in the first half the other day. Excuse me, where he was, about 5 seconds late. The ball was short getting there. Bond was open for about, 3-4 seconds.
Coffee. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a little bit of everything. I think they tried to make him a pocket guy. He was willing to buy in. You were at practice with me a few times in training camp. There was a clear mandate. Don't just take off. Let's see if you can sit back there. Let's see if you can read a defense, stuff like that. And it comes down to he's not your prototypical NFL pocket passer, which is what this offense is with an NFL coaching staff. Will Wine was just coaching with the Patriots. Bill O'Brien was just coaching with the Patriots. Like, this is an NFL offense, and you didn't have an NFL quarterback. So now, let's see what Grayson James can do. Again, I've been on him since April. I think he has a fantastic arm. He's mobile. He's not Tommy mobile, but he can evade some pressure when he needs to. And most importantly, you have a receiver room right now that is way too good to be this quiet.
Yeah.
Jaden Keith, Lewis Bond, Jerron Bradley. We can go on and on. Those guys have been way too quiet. Maybe Grayson unlocks them here, these last month of the season. And you finish 7-5. You finish 8-4. And you're not just a 6-6 team limping into some garbage bowl. So I think it was a combination of everything. And Bill O'Brien, finally said enough is enough.
So I agree with you totally with the passing thing. I was saying, I was yelling in the booth, last year. Why are we throwing 25-yard outs? This guy can't throw the ball that far. And they never adjusted. But they kind of fell back into that role a little bit. Come between week 3 and 5, it was kind of like, all right, we're going to let Tommy hit the ball. He had one good game. I think Tommy got a little overconfident. I think the staff kind of thought that they had took a step.
Yeah.
It was just one good game. That's all it was on blown coverages. And
it was contained. Let's be real. But to your point, though, the staff hasn't helped him out this year.
No.
Play calling has not been great. I'll be the first one to admit that. But I also think that's part of, round peg, square hole kind of thing. Just trying to figure out what he was.
But he knows what he wants. That's the thing. That's where it gets me. And I agree with you saying staying loyal to your guy till last possible minute. I think 3 weeks ago was the last possible minute.
Believe me, I do too.
Yeah, you know what I mean? You were seeing the graph was going down.
Yeah.
From the injury, from the day he returned from the injury, it was now I don't know if the injury lingers or what was said. We've both been there in post-game conferences where Tommy knew that Grayson was nipping at his heels the whole time. He was aware of that.
He knew it last year.
He knew that it wasn't he was QB1 for the game. It wasn't
before Grayson was even here. He knew he needed to be better.
Oh, yeah. And he said it. He said it in the offseason. One thing he tried to focus on was getting better at himself. But my question is, and I kind of feel like, and I'm not trying to knock the kid because I'm appreciative because there's some, let's face it, there's games last year and in beginning of the season, we probably don't win if Tommy's not in there.
100%.
And I appreciate everything. Just like Bill said, they commended the kid. The kid played well, well, what he could. Was it a mental thing? Was he just not and I'm not saying he's dumb, but was it this type of offense to the offense that they were running last year? A lot of cadences, a lot of schemes, a lot of checkdowns, a lot of changing things at the line. Is this that's not something that he was able to do? Because it looked like he was a deer in the headlights these last couple of games. Waited too long to throw the ball, just lost. You know what I mean? And when you go 2 for 7 in the first half, it's like, whoa, what's going on here?
Not only that, it was -6 yards after the first 3 drives. Yeah. So, I think it is. I think it's more so he tried to do what they wanted. Mm-hmm. They wanted to make him a pocket guy. And to his credit, he was like, all right, let's see what happens. Even a few weeks ago, he said, I don't feel as dangerous, meaning I've been trying to sit back a little bit more. So, yes, to his credit, he tried to do what they wanted. He tried to become a cerebral, read the defense, go through 3 or 4 progressions, that type of thing. And it's just not his game.
No,
it just isn't. He's okay, that's not there. Let's go.
Yeah, he's a
That's just
one-read
it.
guy and take off.
Yeah. So to answer your question outright, yes. Mental, and again, you're right. I don't want to make it sound like we're saying he's dumb. That's far from the truth. He's a very bright kid. I thought he was
Right.
very well spoken every time he dealt with us as well and handled the media about as well as you could have. But yeah, I just think again, this offense is not for him. You know, my partner John Salonides at New England Football Journal, when Bill O'Brien got hired, he said, I'd watch out. I don't know if he's a good fit. And sure enough, he wasn't.
And I think another bonus we're going to have with Grayson, not only with, and I've been saying this, since Grayson's been in camp, is he has a clock. And
Yes.
Tommy's clock is very short. But we said he was a one-read guy and go. Grayson can sit in there. Okay, guys coming at me. Okay, now it's time. Like he has that internal clock to get rid of the ball. But he also can play on the center. He's taller.
Well, and not only that. So I asked Jeremiah Franklin today. I said, is the ball different? And obviously it's going to be.
Right.
But he acknowledged the release point. Tommy being a shorter guy is something different that might end up helping out this offense too. How many batted balls have we seen from Tommy over the years? So that's a huge element too, is just, believe me, as someone who's 5 feet, I know what vertical challenge is like. His height just hurt him as an ACC quarterback too.
Yeah, I agree. It's kind of falls into the next thing. They announced Grayson James is going to be, QB1 for the rest of the season, and he's coming home. Quote unquote home. He's went to high school in Dunkerville, which is like 20 minutes down the road from where SMU plays. I know he's probably gonna have a lot of family in this game. It's probably one of the best games for him to kind of get open to. The adjustment here. What does it mean for the switch of Boston College's offense with James at the helm? And I didn't want to go this route, but it just he's stacking them up. Tommy scrubbed his Instagram. Social media is gone. We're hearing that he needed a couple of days away from the team to clear his head. Writing on the wall to me seems like he's going to hit the portal. Do you think Thomas hits the portal? And if he does hit the portal, is Jacoby Robinson QB2 instantly going into next season, or are we going to also hit the portal to look for some kind of reassurance in this department?
We'll go backwards. They absolutely hit the portal. You have to, for multiple positions, but especially at quarterback. But don't forget about that kid Shaker Rising, from Oklahoma. That's committed. But I think he's a 26.
Yeah,
if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. So just talking through that. Never mind. But no, I think you have to hit the portal hard. Look, Jacoby Robinson, your backup for now. He was okay in camp. Grayson James went down. We found out today it was actually a labrum injury.
Yeah.
Bill O'Brien said today that he missed, I think it was like 3 weeks of camp. And when Jacoby got those reps, he improved, but he's not. It's
not ready yet.
No, it's a step down. But what was the second part? I already forget.
The second part was, what's the switch between?
Yeah. Yes. Look, it shouldn't, because they should still be a run-first team. You ran for 313 yards the other day. You still have a phenomenal offensive line when it comes to the run game. But this allows you to, run more play action, I think, and push the ball downfield, which you've been on since April, the play action game in general. But it just, and again, we don't know if Grayson James is going to be a bust or not. He absolutely could be. But at the very least, you have a guy with better arm talent who can now get the ball down the field to these receivers. Like, how quiet has Lewis Bond been this year? Way too quiet for someone as skilled as he is.
Yeah, I've been waiting for the Skeet breakout. It's like it teased us, like, oh, here's 2 receptions, but that's all Tommy could really get him. You know what I mean? And you mentioned hitting the portal and getting a tight end. I think they have good tight ends. I just don't think they utilize them right.
I agree.
This is why I said the play action game. For Bill O'Brien's system, I watched New England Patriots. I watched Alabama. We've watched tight ends in Alabama who weren't really studs go to the NFL.
Even Houston when he was there.
Right. They utilize a two tight end set, right? They like to go with that, sometimes, 21 personnel. Sometimes they do that, even 22 personnel. But they go to play action. They have a dominant run game with a dominant offensive line. Now, look, break out a tight end. You can play the short and intermediate game. You have Skeet who can stretch the field. Bond who can stretch the field. Bradley, big body guy, contest the catch. He can play in the middle of the field. Reed Harris can take the top off the ball. They have the guys.
Yeah.
But now Grayson James can throw with anticipation, can throw the wide receivers open, can actually see more of the field. I think the height differential is going to play a large role. Like, he doesn't have to be in shotgun all the time. When you play on the center, that's why they do it in the NFL. You know, you cover the Patriots. When you play on the center, you can disguise the run game. You can disguise where the ball is, when the ball is handed off, where it goes, which direction. It's kind of hard to do when the guy is always in the shotgun, you know, and you're trying to fake the snap to the side of you broad daylight. You know what I mean? So,
and not only that, but think about the offensive line. If you miss an assignment and you know Tommy's back there, you're approaching the game differently.
Right.
You know, you feel, and it's nice to have that security blanket, but I don't want my offensive lineman knowing, hey, if I screw up,
it's okay.
Yeah, exactly. My quarterback is just going to bail out.
Right.
Like that's not a good way for your offensive line to go about things. So I think just mentally, a lot of stuff changes for the offense too.
I like to say, I like to hope that this offensive line is going to play on their toes in this game against SMU. I think they want to put a physical presence on that offensive line, that front seven, and they're going to try to play. You know, we're going to push you upright. You're going to put you on your heels most of the game, and you're going to watch our running backs come right by you. I think we'll get more into that a little bit more to close out the show. Another topic I want to talk about here: the loss of Amari Jackson is being felt every week. This week was no exception. Syracuse had 2 wide receivers go over 100 yards, allowed 4 wide receivers in double digits yard per catch. They allowed 2 touchdowns. How does Tim Lewis and Ray Brown correct the issues in the secondary? It wasn't all bad, though. I'm going to get me wrong. They got to correct that. It wasn't all bad. They were able to. LaQuinn Allen is a guy. I think he's a really talented running back and will play on Sundays to the next level. They contained him to under 3 yards per carry. He only had 50 yards. Our guy, Donovan Lesrock, who led the front 7 with 17 total pressures as a group. So they did their thing. But how does Tim Lewis and Ray Brown go and correct this second? I feel like they're just kind of like pulling at straws week to week right now.
You don't. It is what it is right now. Jackson being out, everybody has to slot up, kind of one extra notch. And it's just, I was talking to Trevor Haas about this for the Boston Globe during the game. Those back shoulder throws, airtight coverage, you're just undersized. Those guys made plays. So undersized and experienced right now. It is what it is. Again, Jackson sort of allowed everybody to slot in one slot below where they belong. So again, it is what it is right now. You got 3 games left. That should be a big portal fix in the offseason. But I don't know if there is a quick fix right now. These guys just need to play. And again, Max Tucker and Ashton McShane, they're good players. They just haven't played Division I football, So I'm not sure there's a whole lot they can do. Linebackers obviously been a huge issue as well. The lack of depth there has just been a killer. Owen McGowan has done his best.
Yes.
It is what it is. Again, it's a guy who hasn't played a lot of Division I football yet. So really just sort of, I guess, growing pains is the best way to put it for this defense, I think, this year. They should be better in the run game than they were last week. Missing tackles and stuff the way they did in those Virginia losses was brutal. But,
gross.
One-arm
tackles is
like, so that's fixable.
Shit.
Yeah, that's fixable. But in terms of the size and just the depth of the bodies you have,
don't have it.
It is what it is right now.
No, in that secondary, Amari is able to not Revis Island, okay, but he's able to kind of eliminate almost one side of the field. He can kind of man up with your one-on, the best that they got. You're not really gonna have to cheat the safety over the top unless he's getting worked. So you have, like you said, slot in. You can kind of space these guys out. Right. All right, we'll just put you on man. You guys can play some kind of zone, or we can just rotate man on this side, cheat the linebackers if we need to. I would like to see Ray Brown put Ryan Turner in the DB1 spot here. They talk about a kid that went to Ohio State, right? He was a 4-star kid, got recruited over there. I mean, yeah, granted, okay, he didn't get to play, fine. That doesn't mean he's trash, right? It just means that he wasn't better than the 5-star kid that was in front of him,
right,
or didn't catch that scheme well. I think this kid has talent. He has a little bit of the size like Amari has. I think that it would. 3 games left. It can't get any worse, right? Let's put the kid that was, had the pedigree in there and see what he can do. And Cheeks, like, where's he been? Why they're not giving him really any of that. He's playing, in like a remote role here. It's kind of
He's doing a little bit of everything.
yeah.
This defense, him and KP Price. If you've noticed, KP Price, and it happened in camp a lot too. He's been down in the box.
He's a
quite
Swiss
bit.
Army knife, dude.
Yeah. So that's the other thing too, is just Tim Lewis is still learning, which it sounds weird. You're in November, but he's still learning his pieces to a certain extent. So I'm with you though. Just start throwing crap at the wall and see what sticks.
Now has the switch of Sion Holler to linebacker hurt them in the secondary? You think depth wise?
No, but I've been surprised he's been this quiet. You and I saw him a couple
I
practices.
thought he was going to be this flyer.
He put Turbo on the shelf
Right.
for 2 weeks in camp because he decapitated him in practice. So I thought he was going to be between him and Crouch. I thought linebacker was going to be fine.
Crouch took off. Crouch has played well.
Yeah, but him and Hoa together haven't been the package I thought they would be.
Yeah, I thought together they would be like that like Thunder and Lightning.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Together, and they haven't.
Yeah.
All right. We touched on him briefly. I want to just give him his flowers because he has stepped up and he hasn't played a lot of D1 ball. But McGowan has stepped up for linebacker room over the past 2 games.
Yep.
This is a kid who's was getting like 25 snaps a game. He's logging 70 plus snaps in back-to-back games. He collected 13 tackles, 2 pass breakups. He's had 5 or 6 run stops in both of these games here.
Yeah.
He's feeling well for Cam, who's got the hurt shoulder, right? You said, is this Franklin Steele? Nobody has really kind of decided to go in. I mean, Blackwell, not Franklin, but come in there and does taking over with the injury here. It's Ben McGowan, and he's kind of like the old man of the room with the least experience. I think he kind of returns. I think next year they need the help.
Oh, they need him back.
Yeah, they need that experience, that leader. He's that green dot guy for them next year, hands down. So I think he comes back and returns. And I think these last couple of games here is huge for him to kind of get that leadership role, be vocal, and kind of command that linebacker room. So
I agree.
Give him his flowers. And the guy who's filling in, he's doing his thing. UNC's coming up. I want to touch on a couple keys here to stop in their offense. Obviously, unless you live in a box, the first order of business is going to have to be stopping Amari and Hampton. And they're going to have to throw everything at them, kitchen sink. Donovan, as the Rock, was going to have to lead the charge. Obviously, once again, you're going to need these linebackers to hit these gaps and plug the hole because he can kill you both running and through the air as well. So, Criswell, not a lot of experience, but he's played mistake-free football these last 4 weeks. And he's kind of getting into a zone down the stretch. BC needs to make Criswell feel the pressure, squeeze the pocket, make this guy throw the ball early when he needs to. Obviously, I'd rather get beat by Criswell than get beat by Hampton. That's just my personal opinion. I don't know how you feel about that. What do you talk?
No, I agree. Look, take care of business this weekend first, if you can. But if you end up 7-5 this year, this weekend SMU is a game. I don't want to call it house money, but it sort of is. Like in the spot that they're in now, UNC and Pitt, you need to win those games now.
Yeah,
there's no excuse. To your point about UNC, look again. I want to see what happens this weekend first. I want to see how they sort of approach life with Grayson James. But defensively, I don't have high expectations the rest of the way. I'm expecting a shootout every game. It is what it is at this point. You're not stopping teams. You can't stop teams.
No,
if you can hold SMU or UNC to, let's call it 28, that's a win in my opinion. Now, BC's problem, you've averaged 26 points a game.
As I said, they can't score 28 points.
Oh, right. So you need Grayson James to be that guy now. But again, it's hard for me to set any expectations on this defense with so many rotating bodies, so many injuries. It's hard to say, this is what they need to do against a specific team, because I don't know if they know what they have on a game plan to game plan basis. It's one of those things where, okay, this is our plan, but we're probably going to have to change it to a certain extent. So I think I think they're going in, not flying by the seat of their pants, but almost looking to adjust quicker than normal. You know what I mean?
B game plan. If A's not good off the rip, we got a B game plan to go with, and then
Right away.
it is what it is. Like
Yeah.
now I know I went to UNC because I wanted to kind of compare the quarterbacks because
Yeah.
Chris Paul's more of a bigger guy, sits in the pocket, right? Like you're gonna have to squeeze it. You can't squeeze it against Jennings because he's gonna take off and run for a $190 on you. So it's like
Well,
with a
this is
defense that's piecework here, they kind of have to have two different game plans. I don't know if they can do that that quickly.
no. I mean, ultimately, it comes down to your front four. You need your front four to do what they keep doing.
Cam,
To give that
Donovan,
linebacking core
yeah.
and that secondary just a chance to cover for 2 or 3 seconds. If Ezerako and Okpala continue to do what they do, well, then you're okay. Like McCord put up numbers the other day, but he wasn't.
But they always put up numbers. That's what Syracuse
Yeah,
does. Yeah.
right. So I wasn't. Look, I was impressed. He's a good quarterback.
He is a good quarterback.
Obviously,
And Ohio
but-
State gave him the raw end of the deal.
Yes, but again, that front four allowed you to stay in that game the other day, even as they had drives. So if your front four can kind of carry the rest of the way, which you ultimately need them to, you've needed them to all year, but now so even more, you need Ezerako and Okpala to sort of step up and make life easier for this defense.
You need. I think Horsley has to play a big role in this. I think he has to fill that A gap. Like you got to be right in there and make sure you're not giving free lanes to the quarterback and just take off.
And one other guy, Quintavious Hutchins, has been playing a lot.
Absolute game last week too.
He's been playing very well. He's gotten a more run over Neto. If you watch early in the game, it's usually him on the other side instead of Neto, which I found interesting. But he's been a key piece for this team. He needs to continue to have an impact as well.
I agree with you 100%. I think, Quintave has been an absolute stud, and he's been like consistently gotten better. I want to say
maybe last 4 weeks, probably.
Yeah. It's constantly climbing, constantly getting more up, and when he's in there, you're seeing the product and in the outcome.
He's a turnover machine now.
Yeah. He's looking for leather. This dude is like a bloodhound for the ball, and he's always around it. So I love it. They're gonna pound the rock. I think SMU is soft as shit on defense.
Agreed.
I don't think that front seven can stand. What our line and physical running backs can play. Story with Ward,
dude. You and me are equally as baffled. I meant to ask O'Brien about it today, and I totally forgot with the QB thing. But look, Jordan McDonald was a nice story, and O'Brien said he earned the playing time with his performance in practice. That's great. Where the hell is Trayshawn Ward?
He's not hurt, right? Because I'm not. No. I went diving into the deep dive.
And oddly enough, if you watched last week, they had him out wide a bunch. They never gave him the rock, but they kept spreading him out wide as sort of a decoy. Is my best guess. So I wish I had an answer. Look, again, that room is deep, so you don't necessarily need him to carry the ball 10, 15 times, but it'd be nice. He's arguably still your best athlete besides Jade McGowan, who, we won't even get into that. I have no idea where the hell he is. Yeah. But between him and Ward, it's baffling where those touches have gone. It's nice that you have Kai and you have Jones and you have Turbo and, you have all these guys, but Ward is your best running back still, at least in my opinion. So I'd like to see him more, but I don't know what's going on.
Yeah, it seems like I wonder if it's an in-house thing or something.
Maybe.
Because the last couple of games, man, it seems like he's kind of been out there, but not out there. In the Syracuse game, I think he was more of he helped them read the defense because when he split out wide, you could tell it was man zone. They could figure out from there because they'd always have to put a body on him because he's a wide receiver threat, to catch the ball. So I think that was what it was. But it's just like, all right, that was last game. What about the last two?
The last three, even.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Like this is a dude that was huge. Nobody could stop the wheel route with him. You know what I mean? And now this guy just is not playing. I'm glad Kai's 100%. But again, we're talking about Thunder and Lightning. What a Kai that Thunder and Lightning combo, bro. I mean, you can line them up together in the backfield. You don't know who's getting the ball, and you have to account for both of them. So I would like to see, him come in this game and kind of make SMU have to totally spread it out there and worry about an extra guy in that backfield. Bradley, what's the story? Can we? I know I'm not hating on any of these wide receivers because obviously the offense has been, dialed back a little bit. Tommy has been hurting with figuring out what he was going to do. Now they're going to probably, be able to get the ball to the wide receivers in a better spot, I think, when it comes to if they follow this play action, what I think they're going to do, run the ball and go into play action mode. Do you see them kind of filtering Bradley in more now with a pocket quarterback, or do you think they're going to go with their guys in Bond and Skeet, and then it is what it is for the last couple of games?
So look, it's just you and I talking. They know more football than we ever will, but I don't get how you don't use him more.
Yeah.
He's your biggest target by far. I thought for sure both him and Kamari Morales would be major red zone factors this year, and they haven't been. I think Bradley has 2 touchdowns, if I'm not mistaken. He's
back-to-back games and then disappeared.
Yeah. And it's not just he's not just a deep threat. He's a guy that can go over the middle. He can out muscle guys.
Big body guy, yeah.
50-50 balls. Like it's probably because you haven't had a quarterback that can get the ball downfield. But yeah, man, I'm hoping. Look, for Grayson James's sake, that's a huge target to rely on.
That's what I'm saying. Right?
So I'm with you, man. I hope we see more of him. It's just hard to know what this offense is just because the quarterback has been so up and down this year.
We're going one last question before we give predictions. It's now going back-to-back years we've had a quarterback change at Boston College, right? And I guess you could kind of say Matt Ryan is the last sturdy.
I would say steady.
Steady. You knew what you were getting week to week. I mean, you had a year of Phil where you knew what you were getting week to week, and then it went off. So I couldn't count on Phil. You know what I mean?
No, so to your point though, it might be Dennis Grosel. He might be the most consistent guy you had in the last 4 years. If you really think about it, you knew what you were getting with him.
Yeah.
You probably weren't going to win money games. He was probably good for a pick or two, but you were going to be in a game that he was quarterbacking. The guys trusted him. So to your point, it speaks volumes about how up and down the quarterback position has been. They need to get something settled, under O'Brien quickly, particularly this offseason. He didn't get hired until February?
Right.
Well, it's understandable, but that position needs to get figured out.
ASAP.
Yeah, ASAP. Because
if it's not Grayson, then we need to get the guy.
Correct.
And it needs to be done first step in this process, portal, whatever it's going to be.
So I think it will be Grayson, but name to keep an eye on is Matt Sluka. You know how I feel about him.
I'm all set, dude. You can't quit on your team. You can't quit on your team and have a fan in me.
Fair, but there's more to that. But I don't think it'll happen. But I think it's a name that people can keep an eye on just locally in terms of a name that people would be able to grab onto and sort of know if they do go hard in the portal. But look, it's based solely on training camp, and I was there for I think it was 20 straight days. I'm a huge Grayson James guy. I think he hasn't really gotten a shot at either place he's been. So hopefully we find out in the next few weeks that you do have the guy. But if not, to your original point, it's got to get figured out because it's been a freaking roller coaster for almost a decade now.
So he's gonna burn a year this year.
Yeah.
So it's only one more after this, right? Next season, and that's it.
Yeah.
So either way, they got to figure it out.
Yeah.
Whether he is the guy or not, they got to figure out what's next. All right, give me your prediction for this game against SMU.
So I don't know, man. I think they lose the game. I'm gonna go. I don't know, 31-24. I do think it's a closer game. I think SMU sort of underestimates them. I think James is comfortable playing back home. And don't forget, he played against Western Kentucky too. And I asked him about it after the game.
Winning, brought him back.
He said that really helped him, sort of be more comfortable against Syracuse. So with more reps, he's going to get more and more comfortable. Look, SMU is ranked for a reason. They're at the top of the ACC for a reason. Defensively, I just don't know how this team stops them. But I do think you see a good game from the offense. I think, to your point, I think the offense tries to run the ball a lot. Again, I think you do see some more play action. I think you see more stretching of the field. But ultimately, I just don't know if you can keep up with SMU's offense. Again, they're the top of the ACC for a reason. So I'm going to say 31-24, but the Grayson James era is upon us, and I think it's an okay start. This fan base is very fickle, so they're probably going to hate the kid no matter what happens. But
Yeah.
I think he has a good showing, but ultimately they come up short. Again, this is where 7-5 comes into play. I think this is your last loss.
I think I've thought about this a lot all day today about this game, which way they're going to go and how they're going to come about it. But I'm always in on kids that play in Texas.
I hear you.
Let alone Duncanville. I don't know if New England kids understand how much of a powerhouse school Duncanville is.
It's real football.
You want to talk Friday Night Lights? Duncanville High School is
20,000 people.
Yes. Yeah. And they are top 5 almost every single year in 7A Texas football. Like they're legit.
Yep.
He was a star quarterback on that team. Like he's coming home and he hasn't played in a while. I know this is going to sound crazy. I could see a 3-4 touchdown game. I could see that happening coming home. Ultimately, I think he throws for like 225 and 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, but yeah.
That's what I think. But I think they run the ball for 200. I think they can put up 28.
Yep.
My problem is they're going to have to do it with long clock eating drives.
Which, oddly enough, is something Tommy was good at.
Right.
Like, think about the Florida State drive, the Missouri drive, 18 plays, 10 minutes long.
Yeah, 8 minutes, 45 seconds, yeah.
They're capable of it. That's the thing. It's just what happens in the red zone. That's the problem.
Well, now I think you have a guy who can make those throws, those tight window throws.
And let's not forget, you need to score touchdowns because you don't have a special teams unit.
One field goal. One.
Well, 2 attempts.
Yeah, one made. One made.
It's unbelievable.
I've never seen it in college football.
I've never seen anything like it, man. So
again, 2 years of trash in the special teams department, Kevin.
So there's a little bit of pressure on James in that sense where you got to finish with 7 and not 3.
They can't score quick 7s, though. That's my thing.
No, God, no. I agree.
We can't be going down there 6 plays, 78 yards, and a big touchdown. I'll take it, but you're not winning that game. They're not built for the shootout because SMU can score quick and they can score in bunches quickly. So that's my issue. They can't stop, nosebleed though. So I think we can my thing I always say is if we can withstand the first couple of big blows.
Yeah, the only thing I'm worried about is, and I know it's 2 very different teams, but look, you still have that revenge factor after last year too. I guess SMU got embarrassed in February. It was a rainy, crappy day. They didn't want to be here. So I think there's a little extra motivation for them at home too, which is something you got to worry about. But I'm with you on Grayson going home. I love those kind of elements where a kid comes home in front of his family, people doubting him, all that crap. So I'm looking forward to seeing what he does.
I know his mom and dad, his uncle are going to be there. A lot of people, I know people from BC that hit me up and said, I'm going to the game. So there's there's going to be a hometown crowd outside of the actual hometown crowd in the stadium. I'm just getting that feeling like this is like I waited for my chance. This is my chance. I'm getting my chance at home. I mean, if you want to write a story, quick mini movie, this is it. I mean, they win this game on his back, man. I think they win the rest of the games out, and I think they get a decent bowl game, and then you get to see what they're really made of. Because by then you're looking at 4th game with them under the belt, at the helm. Either they're going to have it rolling or they're not going to have it rolling. But if they won 3 of them, they're having it rolling. I think you could be seeing full Grayson James effect. I think this game is the game that kicks it off.
I agree. And again, it's just I want to make sure people understand. Yes, I haven't been a proponent of Tommy all season long. He's a great kid. He's been phenomenal with the media, very good to us. But at this point, I think it's just clear he's not a Division I ACC quarterback, and that's all it comes down to. And credit to Bill O'Brien, who said today, look, I have to make decisions, and this is what it is. Jeremiah Franklin said it today. He goes, look, it's not like we hate Tommy.
Right.
They're all still boys. It's just this is what it is, and hopefully it's a start of a new successful era at BC with Grayson James. But crazy way to head into November here.
It seems like last 2 years we always get some craziness going on right at the end of the year. Last year was Halfley was going to get fired, and he figured it out. They made a bowl game, and ultimately ended up leaving anyway. This year we get a QB change. Hopefully we can finish. I'll make a run for a bowl game and not just be the the Wasabi Fenway Bowl like last year. Kev, before we close it out, let the people at home know where they can find your stuff.
At KStone06 on Twitter, nefootballjournal.com for New England Football Journal, and then Rivals, BC Eagle Action as well. Always a pleasure joining you, my man.
I appreciate you, my guy. You have a good night.
You too.
CFB Nation, I'm Nino Brown. We out.